Hi, I'm Shannon, and thanks for tuning into my channel. Today we're going to dive into one of my favorite things in the world, and that is calendars and planners and agendas. And I was talking to my husband the other day, and he actually didn't know the difference between all of those different things. And I started thinking, well, is there a difference? And I use these things for different purposes. So maybe this isn't right. Maybe there isn't a right or wrong. But I thought I would do a quick video on these different tools, how I use them, what my preferences are, and maybe that can help you either find a new way to use a new tool or maybe even just maximize what you already use in a better way. So first of all, let's talk about wall calendars. This is just a cheapy calendar. Actually, I love it because I get it on Amazon every year. It's plain without being too plain. It's my favorite color across the top. And every month is the exact same. But what I love about it, oh yeah, it does go to 2024. I was going to say, wait a minute, all I'm seeing is 2023. But I ordered the new copy. And actually, I believe I got 2 of these calendars for like under $5. It was super duper cheap. I'll leave a link to it down in the description below. But again, what I love about it is it's nice and wide open. There's not, let's go to an empty month here so you can see. It's nice and wide open. There's lots of room. It's easy to see at a glance, very dark printing. I don't even use the other side. It has a place for important dates, but I don't even use that. But what I love about it is because it's thick paper, I can write on it and there's no bleed through onto the next month. So I love that. And I use my monthly calendar for at a glance on my wall. I work part-time as a writer in addition to doing my own things. And I have 2 children. I have an adult son who's 18, starting at the university in the fall, actually in just a couple weeks here. And then my other son who's 17, but he has a multitude of special needs. So I have a lot of appointments and a lot of time management that I have to do for him as well. So I like to have something on my wall or at least close by so that I can see things at a glance. I include things like appointments, dates I have to send my invoices to clients, birth dates, meetings, those kinds of things. Now, the only downside to this particular calendar is it's kind of flimsy. There's not a real heavy-duty backing to it. It's a real cheapy cardboard. But that doesn't bother me so much. I cared more about the monthly calendar layout myself than the sturdiness because I beat this calendar up throughout the year. So what I do is I just found this cheapy, really flexible, lightweight cutting board at the thrift store. I think I paid 50 cents for it. Anyway, I use this over and over and over each year, and I just use a straight up binder clip to attach it. And then that keeps it nice and sturdy if I want to file it this way, horizontally. Or if I want to hang it on the wall, I can just hook it by this little hook here. I use a 3M command hook for that. So this is my wall calendar. And this is month at a glance, but it's on the wall or it's just somewhere where I can just pull quickly. And again, I just use this for my appointments, deadlines, things of that nature. And then this is also for the whole family, birthdays, appointments for my husband, my children, those kinds of things. So that's my wall calendar. Next, I also have a monthly calendar that's bound. And I'm going to be honest, I bought this to use for my YouTube content calendar, but oh look, I haven't even put anything in here and it's July. But that was the reason I bought this. Now, I love this. Well, this is At a Glance is the brand. And it's just monthly. It has all the months of the year. And then it has At a Glance, the upcoming months, and then 1 month beyond, 1 month previous. What I like about this is it was large enough in each day where I could jot a little something down. My hope was to have found some post-it notes that would fit in here and then I could rearrange my content. That never happened. The other thing I did like about this, in the very back of this calendar, was a bunch of perforated, I guess you'd call it just paper for notes. I did like that feature, but it also made it a lot thicker and heavier. So I actually tore those out so I could just have the calendar. Now the downside to this, where the monthly calendar that I get here, I get 2 for like less than $5. Well, let's even go up a bit because I'm sure it fluctuates in price. 2 for less than 10. Okay, so averaging about $5 a calendar. This, not so much. This is an investment. I believe this is $20, $25 a year. Now, when you consider, the monthly cost, what is that? $2 a month, 50 cents a week. That's nothing. But it is an investment for me anyway, especially considering obviously I didn't use it. And I think that's because maybe I was using too many calendars. No, I take that back. I love my calendars. My calendars, my planners, my agendas, that's part of my hobby. I think part of the problem was, one, I don't like using pencil. And to write in here, I would have to use pen. And then if I made a mistake, that would bother me. And I'd have to use whiteout, yada, yada, yada. And at $23, I didn't want to screw it up. Which, oh boy. What a waste of money, because if you're not using it, it is a waste. It becomes shelf candy. But I did want to show this because there was aspects of this that I did like. I liked the size. It wasn't too small. It wasn't too big. And after I removed the scratch paper on the back, it was nice and thin and lightweight. And I did like the durable cover. So if you're looking for a monthly calendar, I do like At a Glance, and this is spiral bound, and I have used these in the past before, and they were quite sturdy. So now let's move on to an agenda. Well, actually, no, let me take that back. Let's go to my planner. Now, this is nothing more than, well, maybe it's easier to show you in this one. This is nothing more than a Staples Better Binder, and I'm going to take this one out of the cover so you can see what I mean here. These are half size, I think they call them mini binders, from Staples. And they're the line is called Better Binder, and they call it that because it's supposed to be, well, the Better Binder. It's supposed to be incredibly sturdy binding here. You can open and close it over and over and over. It's not going to rip or tear. The thing I liked most about these binders is I have psoriatic arthritis, so my hands hurt, and it's hard. It's physically difficult for me to open up rings. And so while I love the look and how fancy Franklin Covey planners are and all those fancy, binder systems, I can't always open and close the rings, which becomes, obviously a hurdle for me. So I went to the Better Binder by Staples, and watch this. One finger opens and closes. And I have used this for years, and these rings have not opened, haven't broken, or they don't stay open. They never miss a line. It has been wonderful. And I think this costs $10. And it does feature a slip cover here, so you can put your own image or whatever you want. But I used this. I loved it. It was great. But I missed the feel of having a fancy planner. So what I did is I took measurements, and I found a seller on Etsy who actually made covers. And she makes them for Bibles, and she makes them for books. And I didn't even tell her what I wanted it for. I just sent in the measurements for my binder and picked my colors. And then I received this mailed flat. The inside here is just fabric, but it's done incredibly well. Oh, here it is. The Blue Butterfly Creations. If I can find her on Etsy, I'll go ahead and put a link to that as well, because I do love this. I love it so much, I ordered 2. 2 different colors. My favorite color, and then my original Franklin Covey planner in the classic size was this. It was just plain, but it was this color, and I just loved how warm it felt. So to class up my Better Binder, like I said, I invested in ordering these 2 covers. And then to put it on, you literally just slip one end in. It's easier to do this if there's nothing in the binder, obviously. And then because of the binding on this, it's flexible rubber. You can just bend it right back, slip it in to the other side. And it's going to be, you want a snug fit. So it's going to be a little bit of a snug fit in there as far as slipping it in goes. But once it's in, it's not moving. And what I love is it doesn't add any weight. It just adds this more luxurious feel. Now these were an investment. I think these were $35 each for the cover. But you can see they look new, and I have literally been using these for a year. And these are vegan pleather, whatever you want to call it. So it's plastic. I wouldn't douse it in water, but you can wipe water off it. But it's great. So let me show you. This I actually use for references and just note-taking notes that I want to keep. So there's not much in here yet because I have to put it in here. These are divider tabs that I made myself. I might do another video on that. You're going to see a different set in the other planner. Anyway, so here's one. And let's go to this one. This is the planner that I made and I use more frequently. In fact, let me show you what I did here. This is just elastic, piece of elastic that I stitched together, and then I wanted something pretty, so I went to a craft store and I found these little embroidered flowers and stitched those on as well. But I made this to solve a problem. When I was going to use this monthly planner, I wanted to keep it with my planner, and I could just slide it in here and then close it, and then everything was contained, and I could take it, throw it in my bag, take it wherever I was going to work, and I had it. And I love that. But here's what I wanted to get into. I got a little off track. Sorry about that. This is a calendar. This is a planner. And the difference to me and how I explained it to my husband is a calendar has dates. A planner is going to have all sorts of things in here, such as ideas that I have for videos, ideas I have for printables or activities that I want to make and share on Etsy. And I don't want to go through all of this because I have some passwords and things on this, but a planner contains everything, and it's going to have lots of different categories, it's a catch-all. It's where you plan things. It's where you store ideas. It's where you keep your account information or important information. You don't necessarily keep that kind of stuff in a calendar per se. And my husband was starting to get it. He's like, oh, okay, gotcha. Oh, let me show you this too. So this is another set of dividers that I made. You can see the difference here. Put them side by side. I like color. I just really, color just gives me energy. So I buy poly or plastic, regular 8.5 by 11 dividers, tabs, whatever you want to call them, on Amazon. And then I take a piece of the paper that I'm trying to fit the index tabs to, and then I just hold it up against it, and then using my paper cutter literally just cut around the edge, and then I take my hole punch and then just punch it. The other benefit to using these better binders in the mini size from Staples, which you can buy on Amazon by the way, is you aren't going to have a fancy hole punch. It's just 3 holes, and you can often get a regular 3-hole punch and then move the the little punches themselves to match up to whatever spacing that you need. Whereas if you're using a specific planner binder like Franklin Covey, like Day Runner, like Day Planner, all those things, you're going to have to get a proprietary punch or buy their special paper. I don't like that. I like going rogue. I like hacking it myself to get exactly what I want. It may take a little effort and a little time and a little play, but I enjoy that process. And in doing so, I often come up with a system that I like better. So these I would define as planners, not a calendar. A calendar could be part of the planner. You could have day pages, you could have monthly, weekly pages, you could have a yearly spread. You can have a calendar as part of a planner, but a calendar is not necessarily a planner, and a planner does not have to have a calendar. So I guess what I'm saying is I use my planners more for project planning and information storing. So now let's get on to my favorite, and it took me a long time to find my favorite. I like using an agenda, and an agenda, let me see, I've got a couple, well, let me just pull them all over here and you can see what I'm looking at. I have a bunch of them, and this is the one I'm using now. In fact, I think on the front it says, aha, agenda. I'm hoping I can put that on camera there. Agenda 2023. Now, what I love about that, the difference between an agenda and a calendar is there's going to be space. And I was finding with just my planner and my monthly calendar, I was using those two tools, but then I was also using a pad of paper to write a to-do list. And so I was carrying a lot of different things around, which, hey, no harm, no foul. If you like that, that's great. And I do enjoy it. But I also wanted something that could be like a satellite tool that I could just throw in my purse and not have to carry a tote bag if I was, running to pick up kids or just running to an appointment, sitting in a waiting room. I wanted something easy, quick, and that was going to be lightweight because, like I said, I have psoriatic arthritis and my hands hurt a lot most of the time. So I decided to go to an agenda. Now, the calendars in an agenda are often smaller. You can see that there's not nearly as much space as you would see. Let's see, oh, here we go. Let's grab this monthly calendar. The space for each day is a lot smaller. I would say almost 50% smaller in the agenda than it is in the monthly calendar that I have, the at a glance. And this is even smaller than the wall calendar that I showed previously. But in my agenda, I'm not necessarily using it for the monthly. I am using it for the daily pages. So frankly, I don't even look at these. I do use the tabs a lot because if I want to go back and say, oh, wait, when did I send that invoice? Or when did I work on that project? I can go back, just flip to the month and look at it. And I was going to show this page from a couple months back to show you exactly how I use it. I love it because it's a week at a glance. I can see the whole week. And I love that it starts on Monday. I know here in the United States, our week starts on Sunday. However, I kind of think of the weekend as its own thing. It's like my little mini vacation every week. So I like having that separate, and I often don't put anything in the weekend. But my weeks, Monday through Friday, are really busy. So I love that it starts on Monday. And I started using my agenda for each day as my to-do list. And so every night I sit down with my agenda and I quickly go through, okay, what do I have to get done tomorrow? Do I have any appointments? What do I have to remember to do? Do I have to mail something? I jot that down quickly. And I don't know why, it's just me. I put a circle as I do my to-do list. And then if I complete it, I get to cross it off. And then when they're all crossed off, it feels good to just cross through the whole list. If I don't finish something, I do a little arrow. Sometimes I do it down here. Sometimes I put it inside the circle. And that tells me, oh, I've got to move that down to the next day, or that particular task has to push. What I love, and then I also keep a binder clip just to where I am. Okay, where was it? September. Here we go. So here we are now. And you can see I haven't entered in everything for tomorrow. I have something for Friday. Okay, I got to mail in my taxes, self-employment tax payment. And you would see this on my monthly calendar as well. So I don't forget. I see it on the wall when I look at the monthly calendar. But I do keep really important things here as well. But I use a binder clip so that I can throw this in my bag like that. And these come with really sturdy. I like Blue Sky. I'm going to show you the logo here in a second. Blue Sky is my favorite, and I'll tell you why. But first of all, I use a binder clip because then I can throw it in my purse like this and then just open straight up to it. Oh, and you can see that I did my crock pot. I did that, and I did that. Okay, so I get to mark those off. I love this size. I think it's 5x8. And the reason I love it is it fits in my purse. It's large enough for me to easily write. I write pretty large. The paper in Blue Sky planners are great. Agendas is really great because it's thicker. And I find that even my Pilot G2 gel pens, which are my favorite, and I also like the Big Velocity. It is, this is my favorite. How can I make that zoom in for you? Big Velocity is my favorite ballpoint pen. And this is a 1.6 bold. I don't go thin and I don't go fine. I am bold all the way. If I'm going to make a mark, it's going to be there and it's going to be bright and easy to see. So I love that this paper stands up to that. I use highlighters, all the good stuff. But the other reason I love this size is because I can tuck a small piece, a folded up notebook paper for notes, or I can put in a small pad of paper and it's still not thick at all. And this goes right in my purse. So as much as I would consider this my satellite agenda, and even a planner if you want to call it that, because I can plan and jot down ideas on the paper. And satellite because it goes wherever I'm going. This is, I guess, the heartbeat and the most important tool to my productivity and to just my sanity. I'm finding that the busier I am and the older I get, the more responsibilities I have. And it's important. You know what? Our mind is a computer, not a storage locker. So it's important not to rely on our minds, our brains all the time to remember everything. All we should have to do is remember where we can find the information. And so that's what my agenda does for me. Now, speaking of agenda and speaking of Blue Sky, they are my favorite brand. And I wanted to go through a couple different formats that they have for theirs. They have full letter size, 8.5 by 11. They're all coil bound. But again, I love this size. I believe this is 5x8 again. But I've tried a couple different versions of theirs. This one just comes in a regular old, it's hard. It's a hard plastic cover. And I like the simplicity of it because honestly, the only time I see this is when I'm flipping it closed and tucking it in my purse. Usually you're going to find it open on my desk like this or like this, so I can just see whichever day that it is. So I can glance at it quickly and check things off as I finish things. But other versions that they offer have little cover pockets. And this is actually a cover that I made myself. I loved, this is a piece of scrapbook paper that I laminated to make it a little sturdier, so that I could slide it into this cover. And again, like I said before, I love color. I love, just makes me happy. So I found this piece of scrapbook paper and I loved it, laminated it. And one of the other reasons I love, this is a Day Designer by Blue Sky. And the thing I loved most about this particular agenda is the tabs. Oh, it just made my heart sing the rainbow. I love it. And you'll see in the one that I'm using now, the tabs are just very basic. They're white. I do love how bold they are. They're easy to see at a glance. And, you know, the utility is more important to me. The usability is more important to me than the color. But boy, that color is a close second because it just makes my heart sing. So this was beautiful and I loved it. And I used this, again, didn't use the month you can see here. But I used this calendar for several years. This is April of this past year. But the problem was I found the page to be too busy for me with all the printed, again, you'd think I'd love it because it's color. Not a big fan of the floral. And I was finding too that it was difficult for me to read the date up here. Now maybe that's not such a big deal, but I can read this at a glance. That 5 is big. Tuesday is easy to read. it's difficult for me to read up here without my glasses. And that's not because of my age. I've always had astigmatism. So that was proving frustrating to me. Oh, but I used this one for several years again because I loved the color, the rainbow tabs. And I loved the ability to create my own cover. But, like I said before, how often do I see the cover? Because it's usually open or folded like this on my desk. So, that wasn't a win. So then I found another planner by Blue Sky Agenda that also featured a cover that you could create yourself. And this is just, again, a laminated piece of scrapbook paper that I loved, full of color. And I thought this was going to work great for me, but you know what? It didn't. And here's why. Oh, I could not stand this page. And I ordered this on Amazon. And when you order on Amazon, you don't always get a real feel for what the page is going to look like. I mean, I did my best to try and zoom in and everything. But, I hate this across the top. It just looks busy and crowded. And, I hate it. And I don't like the gold tabs here, the gold text. It doesn't make my eyes happy. What a waste. So, I haven't had the heart to get rid of it because I did pay. Oh, I didn't cover that. The price on these go anywhere from about $10 to $15, $16, $17. Now, the more basic ones, like this one here, I think I spent $12. The fancier ones, like the Day Designer that I showed previously with the rainbow tabs, these run about $20. I don't think that is a bad price at all to pay, considering it's going to last you an entire year. Oh, and you can also get these January to December, or you can get the academic, which usually runs July to July of the next year. So in other words, it's like the beginning of one school year to the end of the school year. That's the difference between a regular calendar or a academic calendar. It runs the school year. But anyway, getting back to the price, I didn't think $20 for this was too bad because not only was I using it as a calendar, but it was my to-do list as well. And so to me, and that was less than $2 a month. That was absolutely worth it. So let me show you this one. The one I'm using now only goes till December 2023. So I had to purchase a new one in preparation for next year. And I like having it a couple months in advance so that if I have, I like to do my own personal goals, quarter 1, quarter 2, quarter 3, quarter 4. If I want to start planning those in advance, I wanted to have the right agenda for that. Now here you'll see it says planning calendar. Yeah, it is that. Yeah, it's a calendar. Yeah, I do use it for planning. But again, it's my agenda because it tells me what I'm doing every day. So I intentionally left this on here so when I did this video you could see this. It's a little different than the one I'm using now. You can see the cover is different. I don't care. It's still nice and hard and sturdy here, and that's actually pretty. And I noticed that the font on the tabs, it's a little smaller on the new one. But the monthly layout is the same, so I was okay with that. Again, don't use it much. Another feature I did like on these is it's just very lightly lined, so if you do want to get in here and write, you can. And it's lined, so it's easier to do that. But looking at the weekly spread, the only difference is there's a little less space. And I noticed that they pushed Sunday and Saturday here and then left a to-do and notes section. I don't know how I'm going to feel about this, honestly. Just thinking about that now, I wish I could get this layout again. Maybe it will be possible. I don't know. Maybe I can still return it to Amazon. I haven't taken the tag off. But I just wanted to share that Blue Sky, again, the quality of their paper is phenomenal. The size, the 8x5 is phenomenal. It's easy to tuck somewhere in a bag, in a purse. And they are very consistent with their prices. And I like it because while I can use my planner, if I don't want to tote that somewhere, I can just grab my agenda, like I said, throw my notebook in there, and I'm good to go. So anyway, that is my opinion as far as the difference between a wall calendar, a monthly calendar, a planner, an agenda. And my husband was laughing by the end of this conversation. But you know what? It's not a laughing matter to me because it is the absolute key to my productivity and just what I enjoy. Again, I love surrounding myself with paper, with office supplies. Hey, we all have our hobbies, right? This is mine. So I hope you've enjoyed this video. I hope that I've been able to share some tidbits of information and resources. And again, I will do my best to link everything below for your use. If you've liked this video, please just take a second to give it a like, maybe share it with somebody. And if you're not subscribed, I would love to have you join my community. Thanks so much for watching, and I'll see you in the next video. Bye-bye.